Travel With Me is my book. Make sure to get a copy before they all run out. I am a world traveler. I am Anthony Giarrusso. Go to www.lulu.com. That is www.lulu.com. When you get to their website, click on Bookstore and type in ANTHONY GIARRUSSO. And you'll see a list of my books. Then what you need to do is click on Travel With Me and then buy it. It's a great gift for yourself, your family members, and it will also help you decide on where you want to travel. You can follow my footsteps around the world of where I've been. You can also get my paranormal memoir on the same website. That is www.lulu.com. Buy it now. Today, we'll be covering in Plaistow, New Hampshire. It is customary there, literally like it's their own kind of heritage, to complain about the traffic on 125. And I completely understand, because I complained about the traffic on 125 as well, and I don't even live there. The problem with Plaistow is literally the majority of the shops and restaurants are off of one main road, and it goes right into Massachusetts to another area where it's filled with buildings and shops and other stuff. So a lot of people want to come across the Massachusetts border because in New Hampshire, you don't have to pay that tax on the sales, whereas in Massachusetts you do. So you got a lot of people from Massachusetts coming over the border, and then you have a lot of people coming from elsewhere around New Hampshire coming to Plaistow to shop. However, that's also one of the reasons why it's good. When you have crowded shopping centers, that actually means that the economy for that particular town or city is doing quite well amongst the rest of the other towns and cities nearby. I used to drive from Plaistow heading back home, where I used to live in Stratham. Quite a bit of a drive, but it's a very nice, pleasant drive to get to Plaistow until you get to Plaistow, where it's really, really heavy and dense with traffic. But the really upside about Plaistow is all those different shops. You have the big main places like Walmart and Kohl's, and you got a lot of local shops for clothing, shoes, all different types of stuff. My parents even went there to go and purchase bricks that were kind of decorative to be placed outside. So there's a lot of different things you could do when you shop in Plaistow. Even though this particular restaurant was not in Plaistow, it's literally like right over the border. It's Pizzeria Uno, and I'd always go to the Pizzeria Uno to get pizza when I went to Plaistow, even though that's not technically in Plaistow. It's literally like you have the border, and then you have, I don't remember if it's like 1 or 2 buildings, and then it's Pizzeria Uno, or if Pizzeria Uno is like right on the border. I don't remember, but it's pretty close to the actual border. Plaistow is also really modernized, and it's grown and expanded a bit. And for some, especially the locals, they don't really like this huge expansiveness because they're kind of more of a quiet type of people. But there's a lot of people in Plaistow, they loved how Plaistow was booming, and it might actually become the next big boom town, possibly in the next 10 to 15 years from 2022. So that's really interesting to think about. Loudon, New Hampshire, there's really only one major thing on why you go to Loudon, New Hampshire. And that's to sit in traffic going to a NASCAR race and to sit in traffic out of the NASCAR race, because it's almost like the sitting in traffic is literally just as important as the NASCAR race itself. Think about that. You spend hours watching the cars go round and round, but before that, you have all these cars going straight in a line trying to find parking, and then you have all these people after the race going straight in a line trying to leave. I remember the first time I went to a NASCAR race at Loudon, it was just awful to leave the parking area. Everyone was trying to get out, and we couldn't get out from our parking space for nearly like 2 hours. It was worse than an air show trying to leave. So the second time we went to a NASCAR race, we invited our friends. We actually had a cookout right then and there. We had this miniature grill, and we put some burgers on it. We had some hot dogs. The friends, I think they made like some potato salad or something. And we just had a nice little cookout at the end of the race. The stadium is actually pretty nice. It's pretty generic, but it's a very nice stadium. And until the end of the day, it's pretty clean, and they usually do a pretty good job of keeping it clean. It was like pristine. Before the races, it was pristine. But then you have like some of those weird wackadoodle people where they throw their beer bottles all over the place and leave their beer cans, and it was kind of, you know, it's like I can't believe people are such slobs sometimes. But for the most part, the Loudon racetrack is pretty clean. Another great experience that I had there is I ended up making a connection with this guy who was a connection from some other lady that I knew. And I was invited to go and see him and others do autocross racing, and they actually had an autocross racing club. What autocross is, it's pretty much motorsports racing without straightaways. It's mostly you drive your car, you go around tight corners, and they usually have cones set up. Sometimes they'll have barriers, but at Loudon, they didn't have the barriers. They were just mostly like cone gates, and you race your car through around and try to get a quick lap time. The greatest thing is I actually took my cousin with me, because he really liked cars, and he usually doesn't like to do a whole lot. But I actually invited him to come and go and ride with some of the other guys. He didn't really want to. He wasn't comfortable with that. That's fine. But I had such an enjoyment. I got to go and ride in a whole bunch of different people's cars. Everything from like a Fiat all the way up to a Lotus. And there was just so many different things. There were a lot of Subaru guys. And they had all different body styles of Subarus. That was fun. And my contact that I had, he had a Toyota MR2. It was a second generation one. And that was a lot of fun going around with him. And I remember there was like a Corvette guy and a guy who had, like, he was like an older guy and he had a Miata. And that was really cool. It was like all tuned like racy. And it had the 5-point racing harness and everything. It was really cool. And the club leader, I don't remember if he's actually the owner of the club or if he's the guy who started the club, but he was the leader of the club on that particular day. He actually had a purple Lotus Elise, and he let me ride with him all the way around the track, and that was a really fun experience. I really enjoyed it. And then I remember coming home with my cousin, and on the highway, for whatever reason, it was sunny, and then it rained, and it was sunny, and then it rained. It kept flip-flopping with the weather on the way home. But those are memories that I have, and that's pretty incredible. And I really wanted to share those memories with you, because now you can go to Loudon yourself and make your own motorsports memories. Newington, New Hampshire has changed very rapidly, and it kept changing very rapidly for most of my life when I lived in New Hampshire. And it still continues to change rapidly even now in 2022. Sometimes you'll have all these little startup companies and they only last like 2 or 3 months and they go out of business. There's a lot of that happening in Newington, but then there's also a lot of businesses that have been there for many years. And around them, these little businesses would pop in and then pop out. Some of my favorite things to do in Newington when I was growing up was going to the Tweeter store, Circuit City, Bugaboo Creek, the Discovery Channel store, Smoky Bones, Pizzeria Uno, Outback Steakhouse, and Filene's. However, you all missed out. They all went out of business in that particular area, and Filene's is gone for good. That's a lot of changes, especially those ones that are personal to me. And then there's like all these other businesses that are there that I didn't really go to, but you'd see new businesses in and out of Newington quite often. However, Fox Run Mall is still there. And I remember when they had, at the Fox Run Mall, they had an area filled with Saturns. Now, obviously, you know that Saturn, the car manufacturer, went out of business. Okay, see, that's another one of those things. They pop in, they pop out. But I remember as a child, I'd go and walk around, look at all the different cars, sit in them, and all that cool stuff. It was so much fun as a child. And then as I got older, I believe I was in high school at the time. Yes, I was in high school at the time. And they had the Porsches and the Audis in the Fox Run Mall. And that was a lot of fun to go and sit and talk with those people there as well. But you can still go to a Fox Run Mall. It's actually one of the more crowded malls in the country. For whatever reason, the Fox Run Mall does pretty well with the stores it has in it. Whereas the mall here in Vero Beach, Florida, where I live now, Macy's and Sears have gone out of business. The Walmart in Newington is still there. BJ's is still there. Even though I haven't been there in a while, I still think D'Angelo's is still in Newington. I used to love going to D'Angelo's and getting my favorite thing there, which was the Caesar salad wrap. I used to love that. It's just really sad that there's no Circuit Cities anymore. I used to shop a lot at Circuit City, but Circuit City is gone. Gone forever. But the IHOP near Barnes & Noble, where I used to go shopping there as well, which is right next to where Bugaboo Creek used to be, that IHOP is still open. So that's pretty cool. I'm Anthony Giarrusso. Make sure to get my book, Travel With Me, at www.lulu.com. Have a great day. Bye.